All right, we begin this morning in Washington. Yep, in a few hours, the House Rules Committee will meet to try and formalize an impeachment inquiry into President Biden.
What the impeachment inquiry means, the full House could vote on that as soon as tomorrow.
Well, that falls on the same day that lawmakers are demanding that Hunter Biden testify behind closed doors.
Alexandria Hoff knows it all. She's in Washington with the latest. Hey, Alex.
Hey, good morning. Maybe not all of it, but there are a lot of pieces at play here. The impeachment inquiry, as for that, the White House is trying to put to use past statements made by Republicans who feel that there isn't enough evidence to impeach the president. Some have changed their minds on that in recent weeks. But the way that this timeline breaks down is that today the House Rules Committee is going to consider the resolution that would authorize the impeachment inquiry. Tomorrow, House Republicans are expected to vote to approve it. Mind you, this isn't a vote for impeachment, just to allow for the inquiry and more investigative power into that. Tomorrow is the same day that the president's son has been subpoenaed to appear for a deposition. So then if the inquiry is approved, the articles of impeachment could be drafted in the spring of next year. The White House saying this, quote, "The most extreme members of the House Republican Conference are pushing ahead with this partisan smear campaign despite the fact that members of their own party have admitted there is no evidence to support impeaching President Biden." And sources tell Fox News Digital that House Oversight Committee ranking member Democrat Jamie Raskin has been meeting informally with House Republicans, hoping to convince them to abandon this impeachment effort. As for Hunter Biden, well, he may have been subpoenaed to interview privately tomorrow, but he's only agreed to testify publicly. House Republicans have rejected that, and if he does not show, the president's son could be held in contempt of Congress. That would not be a light addition to his current legal troubles. That includes the 9 new tax charges filed against him by special counsel David Weiss. 3 of those are felonies. He's accused of evading about $1.4 million in taxes. Weiss says that Hunter instead spent millions on cash withdrawals, payments to various women, and an overall lavish lifestyle. Guys.
Very lavish. Hey, Alex, in talking about Jamie Raskin, the ranking member on oversight, where you were just talking about how he's talking to some Republicans and Democrats as well, it sounds like what he's doing, according to this Fox News Digital story, it sounds like Raskin is talking to some Republicans who are leery about voting for an impeachment inquiry. And then he's showing them stuff that has been turned over by the White House. And a lot of Republicans are going, you know, I never got that from James Comer. I wonder why.
Yeah, and I think that there are Republicans, some of them who have been hesitant about this from the first place. They have trouble seeing how all of this has fit together. We've seen bits and pieces come out of Congressman Comer, and I think Jamie Raskin right now is hoping to try and enlighten them, set a different kind of timeline. But we'll see if any minds have changed. There were several. I mean, we've heard from Republicans before who said that they were not confident that there is enough evidence for impeachment.
Right. Thanks, Alex. So the thing is, too, there's an inquiry and there's an impeachment. I mean, who would ever stop an investigation now without trying to find out why you set up these shell companies? What Eric Sherwin had to say behind closed doors about the finances, how Joe related to Hunter and what the interaction between them, and making sure your dad paid some of this and paid some of that. Who would ever want to find out what was the income from China, Kazakhstan, as well as Ukraine and the Moscow mayor? Who wouldn't want to put these pieces together? And why wouldn't the White House cooperate if they really? Why you need Jamie Raskin to whisper behind closed doors? If you just want to be transparent, just come out and say it. Well, I have a counter narrative.
This is just an inquiry. This is not an impeachment vote. It's just a vote to look into this, to see if there was anything done wrong. Right. And Jamie Raskin going in, what does that tell you? It tells me that they're worried about this. The Democrats are worried. They're sending in a guy who's friends with both sides of the aisle, and he's apparently pledging or pleading with his Republican friends, please don't go forward with this. They're also defending, you mentioned the fact sheet, the things that they're handing over to say, hey, Republicans, did you know this? Right. The reason he fired Shokin, remember that was all over the press? He said he was bragging about firing the prosecutor in Ukraine, and he said, if you don't fire him, I'm going to withhold $1 billion in aid. Well, they're defending the firing of that. They're defending the Biden administration's banks and private citizens for cooperating with the investigation and focusing on obstruction.
I just find it hysterical that they're using someone that led the last impeachment. We're not talking about someone that's bipartisan. Right. I mean, he brought a failed impeachment that it had absolutely no evidence. This was the second one. and somehow he's supposed to be the person to unify the country. I think there's a lot of Americans saying, why the double standard here? And
well, he doesn't want to unify the country.
That's exactly
He's
right.
looking to say, don't go do this. And the thing is, too, it's kind of a risk because you oftentimes can get it's like putting a jetpack, which I still aspire to get one, on your back for an election. Because look at how Clinton was fueled by that impeachment. Look at how Trump, with the Ukrainian phone call, ended up working for him for the re-election. So Jamie Raskin should say, if there's nothing here, have at it.
Right.
Well, here's the thing. In September, Kevin McCarthy had promised a similar vote. We're going to have an impeachment inquiry vote, but he backtracked because of the opposition from a lot of centrists and those 18 Republicans in Biden districts, and so that never happened. So Mike Johnson has got to, to avoid a faceplant, what he needs to do, he's only got a three-vote margin for error. According to Politico, there are still half a dozen members, Republicans, in Biden districts uneasy about supporting. Brian Fitzpatrick, who used to be an FBI agent, not on board. He says he wants to talk to Comer and Jordan. And one Republican for sure, Ken Buck of Colorado, has said, I'm not going to do it. Given the fact that there are 18 moderate Republicans in Biden districts, you wonder why only 6 are left. Because, to the point about, Brian, you were talking about it's different articles of impeachment, different than an inquiry. What they're saying is, let's have the inquiry so we can get more stuff from the White House. And that's why Jamie Raskin is circulating this stuff from the White House. You want this stuff? It's already out there. That's what he's saying. I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhardt. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.